Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Jacob, and I'm a sports guy.
My name is Tim, and I am not a sports guy.
And my name's the Rat, and I'm the gambling guy.
Who's that? Who is that? Is that
Call the exterminator. We got a rat in the building.
We got the Rat. We have our first guest today on the podcast. He goes by the Rat. But Tim, tell us his real name real quick. Why can't we share his real name, Tim?
So we actually gave the Rat a shout out last episode. You guys may recall. I've got a buddy of mine, big into sports gambling. Couldn't say his name for legal reasons, but he wanted to come in and talk to us himself this week. So,
yeah,
welcome
guys.
to the show, Rat. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Happy to be here. Excited to share some gambling knowledge, if you want to call it that.
Ooh.
Again, in my opinion, gambling money has no home, but
All right.
okay.
it's fun. It's a good thing to do. It's a good activity if you do it responsibly. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I think
Happy
that's
to talk.
the key, yeah.
100%.
That's the key, is doing it responsibly.
Tim, you might not be
Yeah.
a sports guy, but you are a gambling guy. All of a sudden, knowing you got to do it responsibly.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Tim, you're trying to be a sports guy. So we're going to throw in like a wrench, kind of. Not really a wrench. I mean, this could be something that just takes you from ground zero of being a sports fan to, to the
Yeah,
very
it might.
top by getting into this.
A couple of weeks ago, Jacob, you had said, you were watching one of the games that we had placed a wager on, and it made that game that much more interesting. So, if I find myself struggling to really get into the NBA this year, maybe this betting thing will really kind of push me over the edge. So I'm excited to learn about it. I know nothing about, if you thought I knew nothing about basketball or the NBA, just wait, because I know absolutely nothing about sports betting. So I'm excited to hear what the Rat has to say.
Yes. Now, everyone knows this is a show where we log Tim's journey of becoming a sports guy. So Tim has called up as much as he can to the NBA. This is episode 10, so here we are, nearly 10 weeks into the season. A little bit more because we started a little late. But Tim's been watching, keeping up with it every single week. So we figured, why not throw in a little bit of knowledge when it comes to sports betting? Because you can't really talk sports without someone saying, oh, come on, who do you think is going to win the game this week? Oh, I'll put $5 on who's going to win. Like that's just something that comes with being a sports fan, is wanting to like place wagers, even if it's like nothing serious, just making bets with your friends, anything like that. But there is an actual serious side to sports betting that, I mean, how much money do you think like sports betting brings in every year?
Oh, it's astronomical. I mean, let's think about this. People want to talk about gambling and this, that, and the other. Vegas is a business in their own. And we'll get more into why I call things Vegas, this, that, and the other. But Vegas is a business in their own. And, Vegas would not be Vegas if there were not people out there that were uneducated placing bets on sports.
Right.
I mean, they're out there to make money.
Right. And there's a lot of money coming into it. There are, social media pages, YouTube channels, TV shows that are based around sports betting. So it's very much a big part of being a sports fan. So we figured, why not bring in an expert that can help teach not only Tim, but myself a little bit about sports betting, because just because I'm a sports fan doesn't necessarily mean I know really anything about sports betting. We kind of spoke to the Rat a little bit yesterday, and I'd mentioned to him that I've, dabbled in DraftKings and FanDuel. And if you're not familiar with those sites, kind of give some people like a quick summary of what like FanDuel and DraftKings is compared to like what sports gambling is, I guess.
Yeah, well, first off, I want to say thank you for calling me an expert, because I've been doing this for a long time, and guarantee that an expert on what things are, absolutely. An expert on gambling, I don't think anyone out there is ever that. So just to get started, I'm going to take away with the, I'm going to call myself Professor Rat here in Betting 101. And we're going to do a little vocabulary type thing to get us going. The first thing we're going to talk about is like, kind of like you said, FanDuel, DraftKings. Like, what is a sports book? And to me, that's the most important thing because that's what I call Vegas. Sports book is essentially the people that, or the place, the business, the casino, your friend down the street, whoever the guy is that you're going to go to and place your wager through. So between us, like, let's say I could be your all's sports book. So whatever wager you guys might want to place, and not to spoil anything, we might have some few stuff later in this episode that we can talk about. But basically, FanDuel, DraftKings, Barstool Sportsbook, MGM, Caesars. There's so many out there, and they're essentially the company or the business or the person who's going to take your bet. So whatever that might be, they're the person, the place, the business that's going to say, all right, you want to put this amount on this team. We're going to take that and we're going to be pulling against you, essentially.
Okay. All right. Tim, do you have any questions right off the bat?
Yeah. So as like the bookie or the sports book, right? Like let's say you're a sports book and I came to you and I wanted to like place a bet. As the bookie, doesn't matter like what I come to you wanting to wager on, are you just automatically going to take like the opposite, like the against me? Or is it that like are you going to be selective on what you're wagering? Does that make sense?
No, it does. And so as the bookie, the sports book, Vegas, however you want to say it, they will set different amounts and money wagers and lines and things like that to pursue a certain bet and necessarily disregard a different bet. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to deny a bet unless it reaches a certain volume of bets of a bet you want to place, Tim.
Okay. So like, for example, like you said, you're never going to deny a bet. So, but that's because you're going to place the line prior to like a reasonable line per se. So you still have just as much of a chance, if not a little bit more of an edge compared to the person that's coming in and placing the bet.
Exactly. So as the book, we're going to place that bet to where we believe is going to put us in the least volatile state. And then we will move that bet in different directions according on to what people are betting and, what we need as far as a book to help make it more profitable to us. Like I said, at the end of the day, the bookie's a business. They're out here to make money, and they're going to do what's best for them regardless.
Right. All right. Man, we're just getting a little bit of a sneak peek into the sports gambling world here. Before we jump all the way into it, though, make sure you are following us on Instagram and TikTok at Not a Sports Guy Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at Not a Sports Guy Podcast. Again, these are all of our socials where you can find all of the content that we post regarding like clips. I've been cutting together some clips of some of our episodes. So some content from this episode now you will see posted onto some of these social pages. But also we want you to follow the Rat. So Rat, go ahead, give out your social so people can come to you. Maybe they'll have some sports betting questions or they may want to be getting into sports betting. Where can they find you?
Yeah, guys, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is RatDance2020.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's great because I have a little dance I do. Hopefully you guys might see it here tonight if we can get Kentucky to keep doing what they're doing up here on the television.
Well, did you dance last night when Duke won?
Duke lost, guys. I did not dance. I had to go to bed as a defeated individual. But you know what? They always say, you wake up a new person. So we got back after today. We hit we faded everyone today. We hit LSU in the cover.
Okay.
We're trying to just get we're trying to get a Kentucky win right now to crush another bet. So that's the plan. We're excited. So, we do a little rat dance when good things go our way. That's where the Twitter handle comes from. But yes, follow me on Twitter at RatDance2020. Follow these guys. They're great. It's going to be an awesome time.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show. Tim, let's go ahead and jump into Sports Betting 101. Take your seats. Everyone grab a pencil, a piece of paper. I don't even know why I'm the one saying it.
I was going to say, you're the substitute.
The rat's the teacher today.
Professor Rat.
Professor Rat. Professor Rat is going to be the professor today. I'm going to be sitting in a chair just like Tim.
Yeah, so grab your pencil and paper.
I will, because I want to learn a little bit about sports betting today. We've already gotten like a little bit of a sneak peek into what to expect from today's show. Again, we're doing Sports Betting 101 instead of NBA 101 today. We're then going to jump into our weekly wager, and we will have Professor Rat here actually make the wager for us for the next weeks. And then we're going to jump into NBA recap. So without further ado, Professor Rat, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah. First off, I want to ask you guys, opening day of class, tell me already, right, what do y'all know other than what we have talked about sports gambling? We'll start with you, Tim.
So literally nothing. I guess exposure is like purely cinematic, right? So like the guy that like bets and then loses and then there's like a mob after him. Like that's what I think about specifically like sports gambling.
Okay.
Obviously, so have you seen Uncut Gems?
Have you seen Uncut Gems? You're afraid of the scary people.
Right.
Yeah. So I've actually not
literally
seen
the movie. It's a Adam Sandler movie. He is like this like gambling addict who like bets big on sports games, and then I'm not going to spoil the movie for anybody that hasn't seen it, but basically what you just described him, that is exactly that movie.
Well, yeah, that's all I know.
All right,
and
so
that's been enough so far in life to keep me away from it. But maybe you can welcome me into the world with open arms.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and put the dunce hat on Tim because he's scared.
Everyone point and laugh at him. Everyone point and laugh at
when
Tim.
You get the chance, 100%.
All right. I know nothing. No, I'm just kidding. I've done a little bit of DraftKings and done a little bit of FanDuel, and I know that's not like necessarily like completely what sports betting is, but it is putting money on players and, basically betting that this team is going to do well enough for me to win some money back. So that's kind of what I've dabbled in with DraftKings and FanDuel, basically like setting fantasy lineups for the week. I've never placed any other sort of bet like that. I've played online poker before. I know that's not sports gambling. That is a gambling game of sorts, but that's definitely not sports gambling. But like I listen to a few different sports podcasts, and all of the people that have those podcasts, they've all participated in sports gambling. And so some of the terms that you've used, like the line, I know like terms like parlays, stuff like that. But other than that, I've never placed a bet. I've never like attempted to make some sort of parlay into like this one big win. I've never done anything like that. So really,
I want to piggyback off that real quick. Parlay, I'm pretty sure I've heard on Pirates of the Caribbean. So like that is like how far removed I am from all this. Right? Like that's the only time I've ever heard that word.
Hey, that's great. We're putting Tim with the dunce hat on in the back corner.
Right.
Putting you up front. You're the A student so far.
Golly.
Let's go. Let's go.
No offense, Tim, but we got
it's okay. You know what? Remember, if it wasn't for my ignorance, we wouldn't have this show. So I got to say that.
Is exactly correct,
Very
and that's
true.
why we're all here.
All right.
So we've talked a little bit about the sports book. as we know right now, sports gambling is legal in around 13 to 14 states.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's going to be legal probably pretty much everywhere in the next 3 years. I would
Okay.
say at the maximum length. With that being said, it's a huge part of sport. It's a huge part of sports right now. So, I mean, as we have talked about in the past, or as I have talked about, the national championship game that we just saw in college football was the most bet on sports game in the history, as far as we can
sports.
History of sports, as far as we can
of all time.
Of all time, it was the most money ever thrown on a football game. Didn't matter the side, just most money ever put in any different bet of all time.
But that's like legally, right? Because like
legally,
there could have been
yes.
games prior to that, but there's just no way to track all that.
Exactly. So as far as being tracked, as we know in the 13 legal states, that was the number one most bet on game of all time.
That's like super surprising to me. That's surprising to someone who isn't a part of the sports betting world. Just because, like, don't get me wrong, that game was huge. This was like the first year that like Georgia actually, I feel like, had a real legitimate chance to beat Alabama. So I'm sure the line was like dead in the middle. I don't know what the line was, but I'm sure it was like probably leaning a little bit more towards Alabama, but like I'm sure the Georgia bets won big.
So, yeah, funny fact to that is the line, which is a term we'll cover later on, was actually leaned towards Georgia.
Really?
As we talked about earlier, the sports books are a business. They're going to pick where they set the line, and they're going to pick what's going to make them the most money.
Right.
So again,
okay. So the logic behind them placing the line towards Georgia is what?
The logic was we just watched Alabama beat this team by almost 3 touchdowns a month ago.
Right.
We want everyone in the country to essentially, we're going to give Alabama the plus value. If you put, say $100 on Alabama, you would win 125. So Alabama just beat this team by 3 touchdowns a month ago. 90%, 95% of the country, or the people that are just getting into gambling, they don't really understand the concepts behind it, are just going to say, this is a free bet. This is free money.
Okay.
So that's the reason Vegas sets the line, again, to make money. They're a business. They set the line.
Right.
So if Georgia were like, there was like no chance they were going to win, they probably would have set it towards Alabama. But there was like a slight chance. They're like, okay, Georgia might win this. But everybody who's watching, and I say everybody loosely, but they're all probably going to be thinking Alabama's going to beat Georgia because they just did it.
Exactly. That's correct.
Okay.
And like I said, as the business aspect of it is, if we put this towards Georgia, we're going to collect 80%, 90% of the money on Alabama. But then when Georgia beats Alabama, we're going to make all that money.
Right. And so they did.
And so they did, exactly. I mean, it was a great game. I listened to you all talk about it. Congratulations to my fellow Georgia fan.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
As a guy that was betting on that side, I was very happy about it myself.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So you've bet through okay, I'm going to just start off simple and just give me a quick answer.
Sure.
Do you bet on all sorts of sports, or are there just certain sports like NBA, MLB, NCAA?
So I
what are the sports that you bet on?
So I primarily follow the 3 major sports: football, basketball, baseball, golf. I'll pick a long shot winner every once in a while.
Okay.
But primarily I follow 3 major sports.
And that's college and professional.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So with the national championship being the most highest betted on game of all time, I'm not sure the terminology, but the biggest bet on game of all time, is that shocking for NCAA to kind of have a higher betted game on than a professional league? Because I know a lot of people, especially friends of mine, are I love college football more than NFL football, So is it surprising that a college game beat that record, or is it not that surprising?
To this point in time, no. Just because, like I said earlier, as far as it being legal now in so many different states, that's not necessarily, I guess, surprising. With that being
I see what you're
said,
saying.
I imagine the Super Bowl this year surpassing that 2 times.
Oh, wow. Okay. So as it becomes more legal in more states, obviously these records will be broken and broken and broken. So,
Exactly.
okay. I get what you're saying. All right. I'm going to let you
Do
take
you
it.
think the Super Bowl will generally be kind of like, once it's the norm, right? Like sports betting is legal across the country. Will the Super Bowl generally be kind of like the game every year?
I think so. I mean, the Super Bowl is naturally the most watched game in the year for anything.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
imagine that trend will continue into sports betting. I mean, when it comes to the Super Bowl, you can pretty much bet on whatever you want. I know people that can gamble on the coin toss, whether it's going to be heads or tails. So, or
Okay.
how
It
long?
goes down all the way to that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I imagine the Super Bowl will pass, as far as total dollars put into it for all the different bets, will surpass the national championship game 100%.
So let me ask you this, if you don't mind sharing with us. You said that you bet that Georgia would win.
Correct.
Were there any other smaller bets that you placed within that game?
There were. I
Okay.
did play a few bets for a first half, what we call team total over or Georgia to win the first half in different scenarios that
Okay.
were losers. They were losers. I can call that out. And then there were a few live bets that I played when Georgia had the fumble, gave up the touchdown. I proceeded to bet on them to win.
Okay.
Which I don't agree with. Gamble responsibly, do what you're supposed to do. But there were a few bets I did play other than just the national championship winner.
Okay. So when you say the term live bets, does
Yes.
that mean that you're actively placing a bet while the game is happening?
Yes. So basically,
Okay.
when games go on through different sports books, you can look at different lines, different, where the money is. And if myself, who watches every game I ever bet on, I'll look at it on the TV and say, all right, this is what my eyeballs see. I think this is going to happen. So I'll go ahead and place a bet into it to see it, maybe a better value, or try to make up something I might have lost.
Okay. So when, like you just said, you can try to make up for something you may have lost. So let's say you bet, like last night, you bet Duke would win the game. Halfway through the game, I know it was close. It went to overtime, so there's probably no like swap into Florida State at that point. But like, let's say it was a blowout. Florida State was killing them. Are you trying to make a live bet to kind of like offset your first bet so you're kind of coming out even? Or is that something that could happen?
Yes, absolutely. So let's say
Okay.
last night, midway through the second half, I saw Duke was down 20 points or 25 points.
Right.
I might go on and place a bet for them to not lose by more than 20 to try to offset the fact that I bet them to win by 5 points.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Tim, do you have anything? I see you're just kind of taking all this in.
My dunce hat is absorbing.
Yeah,
very spongy.
Tim, I am throwing a lot at you right now. And the main thing I want to talk to you guys about tonight is your bankroll. And I've actually given each of you your own bankroll of $1,000.
Really?
So
no way.
Yes.
I can check my account right now.
You can check your account in the Rat Casino right now, and you each have $1,000.
I'm gonna have to make a drop that has like little mice sounds going around, or little rat sounds.
Yeah. So
welcome back to the Rat Casino.
So basically, you each have $1,000 bankroll, and what your bankroll is that's the amount of money you're willing to gamble. Now, I didn't let you guys choose. I gave you a free $1,000 because if you sign up for most sports books, you get a free $1,000 bet or a free $1,000 to bet on. Yes, as long as you invest so much money into the sports book, they'll give you a free $1,000. Up to a free $1,000.
And this is across different sportsbook have different kind of like incentives to come with them.
Exactly.
To bet with them.
I'm guessing. It's across.
So it may say like deposit $10 and you can get $20 to play free or something like that.
Exactly. So a lot of sports books, their big promo is you deposit $100 of your own cash, we'll give you a free $1,000 of sportsbook credit.
Okay.
To bet on whatever you would like. So that's what I'm giving to you guys in the Rat Casino as your bankroll. Is you're going to start this week with $1,000, and we're going to place wagers, and we're going to follow where your bankroll gets to by the end of the season.
Oh, this is so exciting, man. This is so awesome.
Much more to the weekly wager.
It definitely does. This is so awesome.
And I, as your book, am going to see where I end up at the end of it.
Okay, so do you?
Okay,
so you start with
all
0?
sides of it.
I start with 0. So like I am the sports book. You guys. Let's just say you guys just deposited $10 into my sports book. I just gave you each a free $1,000 to start with, and I'm gonna either hopefully take your money because I don't know if hopefully my lessons teach you guys how to gamble, and you guys end up winning tens of thousands of dollars.
I was about to say, you're
going to teach us wrong just so you can win your money back.
Absolutely not. I want you all to win.
You are.
I want you all to win. That's true. I am a rat.
I've never heard of this cryptocurrency, the Rat Bankroll. I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter. You can invest all the money you want in the Rat crypto.
Right. This is so exciting. This is awesome. I'm excited to get into the weekly wager. That was our first little dip into sports betting, everyone. If you learned anything, or if you have any other tips, or if you want to reach out to Professor Rat himself, again, follow him at Twitter at his handle. Go ahead and drop it one more time for us.
Rat Dance 2020. And again, if enough people get the follows, I will be happy to perform my dance for anyone once we go live on video.
Exactly. So you heard it here first. Thank you all for listening to our first Sports Betting 101. Before we jump into the weekly wager and spin some of this rat crypto, let's take a quick break. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We're about to get into the weekly wager. And with that being said, we know before we took a quick break, Professor Rat here told us that he was going to give us $1,000 within the Rat Casino to make a wager. And he's going to keep up with it throughout the entire season. So we've got a little bit of a change here when it comes to our weekly wager. So before I explain that, Tim, go ahead, hit the drop. Let's get into the weekly wager.
It's the weekly wager. Yo.
All right. So before I go ahead and blow everybody's mind with what happened or what the changes will be, Tim, once again, no surprise, won last week's wager. So, Tim, that means that you have won 7 wagers. You've lost 0 wagers. And the reason I say you won 7 is because not only did you win the wager of guessing his total points scored, but you also won the extra credit wager, which was to guess his total assists over those 3 games. And
how many points did it win again for the rebounds?
It's not, no, we didn't bet rebounds. We didn't bet anything else. It was just points and assists. So you bet he would score 82. I bet that he would score 88. And just before we drop back into the podcast, he finished his final 3rd game that would actually kind of tell us who would win here. And I think what it came out to was 77 total points,
77.
I want to say. So you were closer with your bet of 82. I, of course, bet 88. So you were closer. You won that bet. And then for total assists, you bet that he would have 18. I bet that he would have 17. He ended up putting out 25 in those 3 games. So there you go. You won that wager as well. So that means that you're up 7 bets to 0, or I guess 0 losses. I'm 2 wins, 5 losses, but we're going to change it up, y'all.
How does that feel? Though? Can we talk about that?
We can keep moving forward. We're going to keep we're not going to look back at that. We're just going to focus on the future here. It honestly sucks, Tim. It feels like I'm being hustled. I feel like, but see, here's the thing. You may not know sports, but you are an intelligent guy, Tim. Like, you know, I mean, you can sit here and be like, okay, this is his average. So over 3 games, and let's look at these teams that he's playing against. You know, like, you can make a pretty good educated guess on some of these things. So, you know, I'm not honestly surprised that you've won the amount that you have. I mean, okay, I am a little bit surprised, but the fact you haven't lost one, that's a bit surprising.
I am too. So it makes you feel any better.
So, well,
I mean,
guys,
the casino, the rat casino is a little surprised.
the casino was even surprised.
Hey, I like that. I like to keep the bookie on his toes,
on his feet,
his paws. No, okay.
I was hoping you would honestly
talons,
hit the.
No, I'm not going to hit
crickets
the crickets
on
myself. I'm not going to do that. Sorry.
I thought that's the reason you put it on the soundboard was for when you made jokes, like specifically you. All right, guys, listen up. This is how we are going to change the weekly wager going forward. Now, how we've been doing it, basically we would try to place a wager a week. If you won the wager, you earned an extra point. And we were going to tally up who won the most wagers at the end of the season. Whoever won the most at the end of the year would win some sort of prize. So with that being said, Tim's up 7-0. I've got 2-5. Hope that makes sense. But we're actually going to change it up because the fact that we're bringing in Professor Rat, he's actually giving us some rat currency here. We have $1,000 in each of our bankrolls. So
I can't help but think this rat currency is probably like rat turds. Like
I was literally thinking the same thing. Just little pellets,
some nice droplets. You know, spin them
open
correctly.
your wallet, and it's just a bunch of crap.
Okay, we'll say it's cheese. It's little slices of cheese.
Ooh, I don't know.
Ooh, yeah. It's better than turds.
I agree.
All right, little slices of cheese, I guess, is what we're gonna have in our wallet. So we are starting fresh. At this moment, we are starting fresh with $1,000 each in our bankroll. But
gifted to us by Professor Rat.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Gifted to us. He didn't have to give us any money, but he did, so we're thankful for that. But we're not completely throwing out our previous wins because I had won 2 wagers. Tim had won 7. So instead of just throwing those, making those, useless to this game, we are going to turn it wasn't we. Professor Rat was the one here that said we're actually going to turn those wins into free bets. So Professor Rat, please explain to our audience what a free bet is.
Yes, so Professor Rat is going to continue to be generous. And, not only is he going to give you $1,000, but he doesn't think you should be punished for what you've already won.
We appreciate that.
Those are wins. You should keep those. So far, Tim, you, with the dunce hat on, somehow have 7
he's
wins.
at the front of the class now. When it comes to wager talk, he's at the front of the class. I have the hat on. I'm in the back of the class.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even dispute that at this point. Like, I look bad saying that earlier. Tim, with your 7 wins, you will get 1 free bet per week of your minimum wager. So if you choose to bet $100 on 3 of your wagers and only 50 on the next, if your 50 loses, you only save that 50. But if you choose to bet 100 on everything out of your bankroll, then you will save that 100. Or if your 50 wins, that 100 loses, you will save that 100. That makes sense?
But
and I have that for 7 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, you have 1 per week for 7 weeks.
All right. So that means if you place today we're placing 4 bets. So next week whichever bet of Tim's loses, and you said it was the smallest amount that he bets. If he does like 150 or if
margin.
It's 100. So whichever one is the smallest bet, he can save one of those bets and not lose that money, but instead still hold it. So he has 7 weeks of that. I only have 2. So I've got to make it count now. I don't have time to lollygag around. So
yeah, Jacob, you probably should have joined the class a whole lot earlier.
Hoping.
I'm a little bit worried for you, but as a sportsbook, I'm glad you're betting against me.
Great. So, see, you gave me an incentive to go with Rat Casino because I was thinking about going somewhere else. But you gave these incentives.
I'm glad you chose the Rat. He's the best casino in the world. You might come in with cheddar and leave with Swiss. You just don't know what kind of cheese you're going to come around with.
Listen to him, y'all. Listen to him. Okay, let's get into this week's wager. Explain to us what we are wagering on.
All right. So due to the Rat not being back for 2 weeks, I have laid out 4 of what I believe to be the hardest NBA games to gamble on.
Right.
You guys hopefully one of you guys goes 0-4.
No,
the Rat Casino looks great.
No, we can't allow that.
But as your teacher, I want you to go to 4-0.
Right.
So
I feel like it's a conflict of interest. I don't know. I don't even know how to trust you right now.
Hey, you know what? When I started this first thing, shout out to my guy. My teacher was also my sports book, so it's kind of one of those things. You got to give and take.
Let's do it. We got to do what we got to do.
All right, let's do it. So we're going to start Friday night, and I want to hear you guys both analysis on each of these games. Bulls at Bucks. Game time has been moved so it can be on ESPN.
As it should.
I was going to say Bulls initially, but the Bulls are not doing great lately. They've lost big to the Warriors and the Nets recently. And I believe Levine is out to a knee injury, if I'm not mistaken. So that has me worried to go Bulls. And it's at the Bucks. So I don't know. I feel, there's so much riding on this now. This is just way worse. I hate this.
Okay, here, I'll go ahead. I'll do my piece. I'm glad you said what you said. I forgot about Levine being hurt. And you did bring up the fact that the Bulls had lost against the Nets and against the Warriors. My heart says Bulls as well because, as you know, I love DeMar DeRozan. I think he's playing on fire this year. So part of me wants to go Bulls. But in my heart, it's Bucks. But I'm not going to go Bucks by big. I'm going to bet Bucks this game, but for 50.
All right. I'm going to bet Bucks, but just to one-up you by 100. And just hope that I can just take home that extra.
Man, that free money, that free play is already starting to come into play here a little bit. Tim might be using a little bit of advantage here.
I'm going to up my bet on that one to 1,000 Rat. But no, I'm just kidding.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm keeping it at 50. All right, so what's the next game?
Moving forward, Sunday night, Jazz at Warriors. Keep in mind, I don't know if either of you know this, Curry limped off the court last night is a game time decision for Sunday.
You were just making this even harder, man.
Yeah, that was dirty.
That was extremely
crawled out
dirty.
of the sewers and
no. Dirty would have been not telling you all that Curry limped off the court
last night. I've never had a casino help me.
The Rat Casino is very generous. I know.
It's just too good to be true. I don't know. I feel like
let everybody know, we haven't done any research on these games either. So we're kind of blindly betting right here. But Tim, go ahead.
I don't even know. Oh my gosh. It's at the Warriors. I'm going to go Warriors. I'm going Warriors.
But what's the bet?
I'm going to stick it with 100 on this one.
God, I want to go Jazz. But the Warriors are so good right now. It's hard to bet against them. don't really know much about like as good as the Jazz are this year. Like they are very much like a quiet powerhouse that like people just really don't see that much in the media, other than Russell Westbrook posterizing Rudy Gobert the other night. That was all over the media. But I'm also going to go Warriors, and I will match you at 100.
All right, I like the move there on the Warriors so far. Both on the same teams. Interesting. Okay. So now I know this podcast is Tim, not a sports guy, and we're following on the Nets.
That's right.
That's your team this year, right? Yeah. All right, Tim. So through a lot of research, the book found what he thought was going to be the toughest Nets game over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's funny.
Lakers.
I initially looked at this and I was like, this is easy. The Nets are going to take it. But, I mean, KD's out. And it's at home, so we don't have Kyrie. So, geez, I mean, why do you do this to me? God.
Well, see, the thing that's
Lakers and Nets.
The thing that's getting me is that, like, I had the same thought process. I was like, Kyrie's not there, KD's out, Lakers have this all the way. But then you think about the Christmas Day game. They didn't have KD. They didn't have Kyrie.
Right.
Oh, and they beat the Lakers.
Well, thank you for that.
And there were a few of us that had the Lakers in that game. I'm not going to say names, but I know some people, the Rat included, who had the Lakers in that game.
I'm going Lakers. Give me 200.
Whoa.
Yes, sir. Yes,
that
sir.
Is bold.
Double
I think I'm
down.
sticking with my Nets, and I'm going 250. I feel good about this. I would not have felt that confident if you had not mentioned the Christmas game.
Watch, what's going to happen is KD's going to come back early from injury.
Oh, don't do that.
New York's going to waive their vaccine mandate, and Kyrie's going to come back. It's going to be just
I feel like if it was all three of them, I think we'd be okay. But if it's just KD, I don't know.
Keep this in mind. You point out all the right stuff about the Nets. Lakers have lost 4 of 5 against some teams that aren't very good.
But did you see LeBron's tweet, though? LeBron said that, or he posted it on Instagram to everywhere he had a social media page. He was saying something along the lines of like, I'm sorry, Lakers fans, we're going to be better or something like that. So
that's just all talk. I'm not worried about that.
I'm putting my money where his mouth is.
Non-wager talk, he's trying to save Frank Vogel from being fired, in my opinion. Don't know if that's a part of the podcast, but we'll just go with that. All right.
Is that part of are we wagering whether or not he gets fired if they lose at this game?
That's a bonus bet.
I have odds on that if anybody ever wants to talk about it.
All right.
All right. Last game, Jacob, it's your Hawks. They have the Celtics coming to town next Friday. Celtics, roller coaster ride. Tatum, Brown, are they friends? Are they not friends? Mm-hmm. The Hawks couldn't stop a JV basketball team on offense. How are we feeling?
Oh, my God. This is like, I want to go Hawks, obviously. They just won a big game against the Bucks, right? And
right.
And so
big game.
I'm feeling positive. There was a video of Trae Young and the rest of the team coming back to the locker room after the game saying, there's always, that you got to win that first game to start a streak. And so they're saying that win against the Bucks was going to be the streak starter. But the Celtics aren't a pushover team either. I mean, they are always a competitive team. I think they have a better team currently than the Hawks do. Gosh, I don't want to go. I can't see, that's the thing about betting is there is fact and like what you really think is going to happen. But then there's like your hometown team that you don't want to bet against them.
Well,
it's your heart bet. You know what? You gotta. The heart bet is the hardest bet to play or not play.
Well, this is the nice thing about me not having any specific loyalty. I'm comfortable betting another 250 against the Hawks. 250 on the Celtics, please. Thank you very much.
That is a huge one.
I feel good about that.
Wow.
You feel good about that one.
I'm sorry, my pen broke right now. Holy
like that.
cow.
250 on the Celtics.
Easy.
Oh my, easy. Wow. I'm really just distraught right now because I don't know which way to go. I don't know if I should just stick with the Hawks or go Celtics right now. I hate to just be here quiet, but I can't.
I'm going to write a letter to Trae Young. If you bet against him, I'm going to say, look, this guy claims to be diehard and he just bet against you.
Give me 50 Hawks.
Yeah, real confident.
That's a heart bet you make. 50 Hawks.
No.
The rat approves of that heart bet.
It's not too much, but also if I lose it, it's not by much. So I'm not losing too much.
All right.
So
that was intense. Y'all had me sweating over here. I didn't have any wagers in this. What y'all put?
Either way, you're winning money, right?
I mean,
unless you guys both walk. Well, we both can't. Yeah. So either way, you're winning.
Again, that's why it pays to be the book. It's a business. All right. So then we have our next bet is going to be our what I like to call the weekly double. It's going to be a player performance prop. This one obviously is going to be for 2 weeks. And we're going to go with Tim's guy, the process. And just to give a little bit of information on how I figured kind of what to set this line at. The player prop or what Joel Embiid is projected to score per game right now is 28.5 points.
Okay.
So that's his over-under. Will he go over that or under that? The Sixers play 7 games within the next 2 weeks. I set his line for those 7 games at 199.5 points. So if he gets to 200, if you bet the over, you hit it. If he doesn't get there, sorry. If he misses a game due to whatever reason, we'll subtract the 28.5 from that. Whatever you put on this is worth double. So if you put 25 on, you would win 50 if your bet hits. Not, you just lose your regular amount.
So we lose what we bet, but we can earn double.
Correct. It's the daily double, the weekly double.
Tim, I'm going to let you start this one.
And if you guys want,
your guy.
I can give you a few stats that might help.
Sure.
So in the next 7 games, the Hawks play the Clippers at home. They go to San Antonio. They have the Pelicans, Lakers, Kings, Grizzlies, Wizards all at home. 6 of their next 7 games are at home. Also, Joel Embiid over 28.5 is hitting at a 53% rate.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
Rat. Are these all numbers that you look at before placing bets? Because that's all blowing my mind right now. I'm struggling to think, okay, is he going to make over under these points? Much less worry about all of that you just threw at me. Which I'll be honest with you, kind of in one ear and the other.
That's understandable. That was a lot of information.
I mean, I'm thankful for it, but I just didn't think to be looking for that or listening. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes. So as a gambler, I have a certain website I follow called props.com. Hopefully, maybe one day they might want to sponsor us. They're a good friend of the Twitter account. Wow. And they put all this, a lot of this math together for me. So I was looking through that today, and I know last episode you guys talked about the process and what he was doing, how he got his nickname and this, that, and the other. So I thought he'd be a good guy to start with. And he has right now the second most popular points bet in the NBA. So I thought he'd be a good way to start. Obviously, normally we would do it for a week. We're doing 2 weeks here. It's a high number, but I try to give you guys as much information as the nice rat casino that I am to help you guys out.
I'm ready.
You are? Go
no,
ahead.
No. You got it, Tim. Go.
So I just have to say over under, right?
Over. Yep. You think he will score?
And how much?
No, I have to say how much. Just you think he will score more than 199.5 points in the next 2 weeks?
So I'm going to put 100 down. And he is not going to score 199 points. Under. Okay. It will be under.
So how much did I wager?
It's a great question. That's a great question. That's understanding your bankroll. That's a great question.
Oh, can I ask that? Is it too late?
Nope.
I'm going to let Jacob make the call if Tim can ask that question before
Nope,
I give.
he cannot.
He cannot. Okay.
If you wouldn't have won 7
Dunn's
bets
hat
prior,
back
I would have
on.
let you have it.
I will-
think if I'm not wrong, I bet 450 total.
400.
400 total. Nice. Okay, so I bet 400 total.
Can I guess what I bet, Jacob? Is that okay?
Sure, guess what you bet. No, because then he's going to tell you how much you bet.
What's wrong with that? I'm not going to change anything. I'm just curious.
Okay.
I think I bet about 800.
Nice. He's right on 800. I'll let you have it.
God.
Okay.
Look at that. Be bold.
I bet 400.
Be bold, Jacob.
No, because this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to come back next week. I'm going to have $100 in my account.
It's okay.
So
that's when you play smart.
I am betting the over on 199, and I am going to bet. Almost said a number I might regret. This is why I can't do sports gambling. I'm just going to be crazy just because it's like, I think it's really going to hit. F it, put this much. I'm putting over, and I'm going to go 250.
Wow. Okay.
Because Joel Embiid tonight put up 50 points. And then I know the past 2 nights he's put up in the 30s. So if he's going to continue to play like this the next 7 games, especially on a home game streak, my money's on him hitting the over.
And I'll just tell you guys, the Rats' best bet was the Joel Embiid over 199.5 over the next.
There you go. So, Tim, so that means I could win 500 if that hits.
Just with that alone, yeah.
So, all right. So there we go. That is the complete weekly wagers. It was a little bit longer this week just because we wanted to kind of catch all up to the new norm for the weekly wager. And hopefully this will be a little bit exciting because not only are we just placing wagers, but we're also talking basketball at the same time. We're also kind of jumping into analyzing some of these games, some of the players. So hopefully y'all thought that was fun. So without further ado, Tim, let's get into the NBA recap. Welcome to the NBA recap. Now, today we've got a few things we have on the docket that
I need some more energy, Jacob. You always come into this strong.
What do you want from me,
weak.
Tim?
That was weak. You sound like you're
I'm nervous, Tim. I'm nervous. You know why? Because I just placed how much in bets? 650.
You can't let that affect
Bankroll.
the show. They come expecting
already.
energy from us.
But I'm nervous already.
No, start over. Welcome us back into this.
Yeah, give you guys a free $1,000. You go all to it.
Hit the drop one more time, Tim.
I don't actually have that drop right now.
Okay, wow, whatever, Tim. Anyways, I'll guess I'll welcome you into the first part of NBA recap. First up, we have the Kia rookie ladder. So do you? And I'm talking to the Rat. Do you follow NBA like rookie ladder? Like I know we've talked in the past a little bit about making bets for like the final awards at the end of the season. Probably one of those awards is the rookie of the year that you would bet on. So this week there's a new update. We've got Evan Mobley coming in at number 1, Cade Cunningham at 2, Scotty Barnes at 3, Franz Wagner at 4. And then, I'm sorry, there's just some dark clouds coming in for number 5. Oh!
The Thunder from Down Under, Josh
Giddey. He's coming in.
I wish we could have started with him. That's the energy we need right there.
Right? So, looking at this list, who are you thinking will come out on top on the rookie ladder?
So, I do follow it. I actually placed a preseason bet.
Oh, snap.
I took Cade Cunningham. I thought he would 100% win it. I watched him play college basketball at Oklahoma State. Thought he was the guy.
Okay.
He was the number 1 draft pick. Is that right?
Number 1. Yeah.
Okay.
With that being said, I do follow it. His odds are not nearly as good now as they were at the beginning of the season.
Right.
And we actually, live update, had a change in that in the last 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Breaking news. I saw it on my screen. Scotty Barnes has passed Cade Cunningham, I guess, after a performance tonight. Yes, Evan Mobley still number 1, Scotty Barnes at 2, and Cade Cunningham at 3.
So I don't know how much of the podcast you listen to. I'm a diehard Evan Mobley supporter.
Diehard. Wow, that is a bold statement to make. Dude's been playing for half a season right now, but okay. Hey,
I'm just a big supporter of Evan Mobley. Tim over here is a big supporter of Scotty Barnes. I'm not supporting Scotty Barnes.
I'm not supporting Evan Mobley.
I'm not supporting either one of them. I'm supporting Cade Cunningham at this moment, as a gambler. And I just, kind of had my heart ripped out there for a second after hearing the opening and that.
No, but yeah, so Tim hates Evan Mobley. He can't even remember how to pronounce his name half the time.
I can't ever get his name right, but it is such an easy name. It's not like Franz Wagner or nothing like that.
Right. Or the Thunder from Down Under, Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, I bet you money he's going to do so well in this league. He is such a good playmaker. His passing abilities are insane. He's a good rebounder. I love watching him play. He's one of the rookies that isn't getting a ton of hype, but man, whenever I see his highlights, I absolutely love watching him play. So that's kind of our update on the rookie ladder. Evan Mobley still holding on to that number 1 spot, but we actually had a live update. Scotty Barnes took over Cade Cunningham's number 2 spot. Moving into the next thing, we've got KD diagnosed with a sprained MCL in his left knee. He suffered the injury during the second quarter against the New Orleans Pelicans on Saturday, so he'll probably be out for 4 to 6 weeks. That's a huge blow to the Nets. I mean, KD was having an MVP season so far. I mean, he was up on the rankings of, potentially winning the MVP. Rat, what are your thoughts on the MVP race? I mean, with KD going down here, what does that look like in that territory?
It's wide open. Honestly, KD going down, Steph kind of falling off. In my opinion, those were kind of your 2 favorites for the last month and a half.
Yeah, and seriously.
Steph kind of falling off, KD going out with an injury. Honestly, it's, in my opinion, I think it's wide open. I think if you're gonna place a wager on it, you go with Giannis and just hope the Bucks keep winning.
Oh wow! What do you think about that, Tim?
First of all, I just want to say that I think it's hilarious that every time you talk about basketball, there's bets in there somewhere. True to your origins. I love it. Where I stand with KD. I hope the best for him, of course, but I don't know. I mean, I've seen the Nets play with him and I've seen the Nets play without him. Honestly, as good of a player as he is, and I'm not knocking him, he's a great player, but he does not really bring a dramatic change in their winnability, I guess.
Horns. Play the horns. That's a hot take, Tim.
Is it a hot take?
It's huge.
I think that's a hot take.
KD is not that essential for the Nets. Look, they're continuing to drop in the power rankings, and I mean, when they win, they barely win. With KD, they're barely winning. Tonight they won against the Wizards, the Wizards by 1 point. But that's nothing. It's not. If KD were there, I don't think it would have been much different. So, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I've enjoyed.
You were just blown away by that take.
KD is the most important player on that basketball team, and I will never go against that. Not a sports guy. I've watched KD for years, since the time he played at Oak Hill Academy to the time he was at the University of Texas to where he is now. Most important guy on that team.
Maybe, but I mean, like I said, I've seen them play without him, and there's not that big of a difference. They haven't lost more without him, and they're not really winning all that much differently with him. So I don't know. I don't think it's KD's fault. I think it's a chemistry issue.
Right. I
But
definitely think it has something to do with that.
and I'm excited to see what this will look like with Kyrie back, with Harden, without KD.
Right.
Like, I'm excited to see what that might look like. And I mean, we didn't really get a whole lot of time with all three of them together, but what time we did have, it just didn't really strike me as this is their moment, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a hot take. I get it. Everything I say about Katie is a hot take. So
That's yeah.
It's on fire.
And just back to what we were talking about earlier, I actually have some updated odds on these MVP voting. Stephen Curry's back now in first place. He
said Steph is?
Steph is now back. Giannis is second. So
yes. So
and your boy Ja.
That's how I and Ja. Yeah, he should be definitely in the talks for MVP. But yeah, I just think Steph, he's had such a big season so far. I know he's kind of fallen off a little bit. Like, he's not putting up consistently like 30, 40 a night. But I mean, the Warriors are still just as good as they were. I don't know. I think he may turn up here in the second half and really just kind of run away with the trophy. But I don't know. Like, it just feels weird because there really isn't that one player, I guess, this year that just is like running away with the title. Like, it felt like that at first. It felt like Steph was kind of just taking the MVP trophy, not letting anybody else have a chance. And then it was kind of weird because he kind of fell off, and then KD kind of became a favorite. And now KD's hurt, so like that's going to hurt him a little bit. And now, like, I'm sure Giannis and like Nikola Jokic are going to be like 1 and 2. It just kind of feels weird right now. I feel like we're in a weird space when it comes to like the MVP of the season so far. So, but yeah, so KD's out for a few weeks. A quick little side note here: the Hawks traded Cam Reddish and Solomon Hill to the Knicks for Kevin Knox. Like, Rat, are you following anything like this? Are you following NBA trades like this? Does this affect your, I guess, daily outlook? I mean, on the NBA.
100%. I actually love this trade for the Knicks.
For the Knicks, we love it.
As a Duke fan and growing up a Knicks fan.
Ooh,
from the
Tim,
clouds.
you hear that? Tim
I
hates the Knicks.
love the fact that RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish are back on the same team. You know what? In the offseason, they're going to get Zion in a trade and sign something or another. We're going to have Duke basketball playing in Madison Square Garden where they dominate. I'm ready for it.
That would be exciting to watch for sure. I mean, hopefully we can get Zion to play this year at some point. I know they're like continuing to push back his return date because he's just having some trouble getting back to the court. But as a Hawks fan, I hate this. I mean, it's just been like Cam Reddish has played well whenever he's been healthy. And I just feel like the Hawks just don't know what to do with their starting lineup with him. Like, they don't want to like completely go with him, but then some games they would start him, and then some games they wouldn't, and then sometimes he'd get some more extra minutes off the bench. It's just, I feel like the Hawks just didn't know what to do with him. So at the end of the day, they traded him away. And then lastly, on the NBA recap, we have Stan Van Gundy comes out and bashes the latest All-Star voting results, saying, "Do better, NBA fans." This is kind of a topic me and Tim have talked about in the past few episodes regarding, is fan voting a actual like viable option for selecting all-stars for the NBA? Because last week we did an update on the all-star voting, and Klay Thompson was in 4th for guards in the West. And it's like, okay, he comes back. And at that point he had played 1 game. And so he's probably going to get an all-star nod. And so I was telling Tim, like, that just doesn't seem fair to me because, like, yes, Klay Thompson's great. He is an all-star level player, but he hasn't played at all this season yet. And there are players out there that have played all season that they have good numbers, and they probably deserve a vote over Klay Thompson. And so Stan Van Gundy came out and said, the NBA All-Star Game is for the fans, and I'm glad they have the vote. But come on, folks. Klay Thompson ahead of Booker Carmelo Anthony ahead of Cat and Gobert, Kyrie Irving and Derrick Rose ahead of Van Fleet and Garland. Do better, NBA fans. And I'm right there with them. I agree 100%. Like, there are players that statistically are having great seasons, but because they aren't a household name, they're not getting the votes and they're not going to become all-stars. So what do you think? Do you think that there should be a better voting system? Do you feel like, I mean, this could potentially change what it means to be an all-star, because it may not mean in the future you're an all-star because you're playing super well. You're an all-star because you're popular. You're not necessarily, doesn't really necessarily mean anything other than you get more media attention than this guy does.
Yeah. I agree with him 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's going to come back to gambling. Similar to a sports book, the
Mm-hmm.
NBA is a business.
Right.
So what do they want? They want to make money. So who's going to put the most seats in All-Star Weekend? No offense to those guys you mentioned. I think, are having phenomenal years. Van Fleet carrying the Raptors to potentially a high ranking in the NFC, in the Eastern Conference. But people are going to come watch Steph and Clay shoot 60-foot three-pointers. People are going to come watch Carmelo Anthony, who somehow is, honestly, at this rate, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's out there with a walker.
Yeah.
But, it's the All-Star game. People want to see excitement. They want to see fireworks. Whatever is going to sell tickets and sell money is going to be who gets into the All-Star game. I disagree with it myself. I want to see the best players out there and the most deserving players. But again, it's a business. What's going to make the money?
Exactly right. Tim, what do you got to say?
I mean, I'm still torn because I see both sides of it. I mean, I think I would be more interested in going to see somebody like Klay Thompson, right? Over
Right.
Devin Booker, because I'm more familiar with him. So I definitely understand that. But I don't know. I'm just torn. It's something I'm just gonna have to wrestle with.
And it's just crazy because, you're right. It is all about the money. I mean, yes, it's about the money for the NBA. They want to be able to sell tickets and sell merchandise and all that stuff, and have people actually tune into the game from home and stuff like that. And at the same time, I make the complaint that some of these players that are playing really well aren't getting the media time. They're not getting the posts on social media. But at the same time, those pages on social media are also businesses, and they're probably looking at their analytics, how many people are coming to our page, how many likes are we getting per post. When we're posting Clay and Steph, we get so many likes, but when we post Devin Booker or Van Fleet, we're not really getting the likes that we should be getting. So we're gonna instead show more of the big popular trendy names right now and profit off of that. But I don't know, I just feel like it's just messy. It's muddy area to be in.
Well, maybe this could be something we talk about on an NBA 101 at some point. But I mean, the All Stars game, I mean, it has no bearing on the season, anyways. Correct?
Correct. Yes, I couldn't remember if that was similar to the Major League Baseball, if they changed that, but I think they did change it now to where it has no bearing.
Did they change it? Okay, but yeah, because in the MLB, it used to be whichever team in the All-Star game wins, whichever team represents that side in the World Series gets home field advantage.
Correct. I think they've changed that now.
I think they did
the same way
too.
they've changed it in the MLB, in the NBA.
Okay. So they're right. So you're right, Tim. There's nothing riding on this game. Most of the time, it's just an extremely high-scoring game. Players aren't trying. They're just, like he said, shooting 60-foot three-pointers. They're trying to do crazy dunks in the middle of the game. There's no defense whatsoever. It's just let's see the craziest plays that we can do. It's like watching a Harlem Globetrotters game.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's the case, then what does it matter? I mean, sure, it would be nice for somebody like Van Fleet, Derrick Rose, Van Fleet and Booker to have that stamp of they're an all-star, right? But at the end of the day, Like, what does it matter? I don't know. That's kind of
and that's why I'm saying it may change what being an all-star means, because like for example, when you're going on the NBA top 75 list, looking at all the players that made it into the NBA 75, when you click on their profile, it shows you all of their accolades throughout their career, and all-star is one of those accolades. So it's like, if now it doesn't mean anything other than a popularity vote, does it even hold that much of that much weight in like consideration when it comes to like, is this player going to be a Hall of Famer one day?
Right.
So it may change that completely.
Yeah, and that's where it gets me to, is if we're going to do it this way, then it should not be like a consideration to get into the Hall of Fame, because a lot of Hall of Famers have made it and they put it, like you said, on their resume, 10-time All-Star, 12-time All-Star.
Right.
If we're going to do it this way, then it should not be a circumstance in making the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. Well, guys, let's wrap it up here. Thank you so much for listening to another episode, actually episode 10 of Not a Sports Guy podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Not a Sports Guy podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at Not a Sports Guy podcast. And one more time, Rat, go ahead, plug everything that you need to plug so they know where to find you.
Yeah, 100% follow these guys. They're awesome. Been awesome talking with them tonight and going over things. Follow me on Twitter at RatDance2020. We get enough followers, maybe we'll get a Rat Dance on here sometime once we get video going. Episode 10, thank you guys for having me on. It's been awesome. I can't wait to hopefully grow this and see what we can do in the future.
Heck yeah. But we can't leave just yet, Tim. You know what it's time for. We've got the Listener of the Week. Shout out to Dat Boy Eazy-E, a.k.a. Elijah Hudson, for being the Listener of the Week. We appreciate all your support, all of the likes on all of our social media pages. We appreciate you staying up to date with us, and we always appreciate the love. So that's it, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. And actually, Tim, where can they email us? Love putting you on the spot.
Yeah. It is Not a Sports Guy podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, see ya. Muskrat.